Hi, welcome to today's video. Today happens to be the 18th day of the 21-day self-esteem series that we're doing, and we're heading, close towards the end of this challenge or series that we're doing. So today's topic is a very important one, something that I talk about in almost every video, because in every video when we approach towards a solution towards the end of the topic or the problem that we have chosen for that particular video, we often talk about building a healthy relationship with your own self. And today's topic is particularly on that, and it's very simple that in this video you are going to learn how do you actually build a healthy relationship with your own self. So it's going to be all about the solution part. So now this video is helpful for you if by now you have made out or you're clear that you know what, I do have an unhealthy self-esteem, and which mean you know what, I have an unhealthy relationship with myself, or I feel or think about myself in quite negative way, or I have a distorted self-esteem, or I do not like exactly who I am, or I feel lack of confidence, I do not feel comfortable in who I am. So if you relate to all of these, so if you do have an unhealthy self-esteem, this video is for you, and we are just going to talk about the solution, that is how do you build a healthy relationship with your own self. So before we go ahead, or let's start with understanding what is a healthy relationship with yourself, because when we talk about a relationship, it's easier to understand or imagine, okay, what does a healthy relationship would look like when we consider a dynamic where there are two people involved. All right, it's easier to understand, or like what would a healthy or a good going relationship look like when there are two people involved. But when it comes to relationship with the self, it becomes difficult to understand, okay, how do I know if I have a healthy relationship? So let's understand that first. How would you know that you have a healthy relationship, or what would happen, or what happens when you have a healthy relationship with yourself? So first is, you treat yourself with compassion. This is a very big change that will happen when you will have a healthy relationship with your own self. Because right now, when you do not have that, when you have a toxic relationship with yourself, what happens is, the first thing that happens is, you have a very unsupportive, a very toxic, a very critical inner voice. And why it is so important, why am I saying that this is one of the big change that will happen when you have a healthy relationship with yourself, that you will have a very compassionate inner voice. It is important, it will be a big change, because right now, no matter what we do, no matter what situation we are in, the first thing that jumps up, or the first thing that drives or impacts what action do I take, or how do I feel about something that I do, is my inner voice. Because it jumps in, it gives me the thoughts, it starts talking to me, it creates a conversation in my head about anything that I do. And when you have an unhealthy self-esteem, when you have a toxic relationship with yourself, this inner voice is very critical of you, it judges you. It is so, what will happen is, suppose you are at your workplace and you're giving a presentation, and suppose you mess up, you fumble a word, or you just miss a line, or you just forget something in between. Now when you do not have a healthy relationship, what will happen is, this inner voice that you have, or the way you talk to yourself, that your inner talk would be very critical of you. So initially, after right after you have made the mistake, or right after you just messed up, what will start to happen is, the next line of thoughts would be, I'm so dumb, I just it's all finished, now everybody is going to think I'm dumb, I'm good for nothing, I'm not capable for this job. And when you think like this, it is going to affect your action also, that it is going to affect what you do next. You will end up just feeling blank. You will not be able to continue, you will not be able to just start over. You will stand blank there. Because how, and what is the change, what is the difference? Your inner voice made you do that. But when you have a healthy relationship, what will happen is, your inner voice will be more compassionate, it will be more understanding. So now what would happen is, it would be more supportive. Now suppose you made the same mistake, and you are while you're giving the presentation. But here, because you have a supportive inner voice, a compassionate inner voice, the lines of thought that you are presented with would be different. It would be like, okay, I made a mistake, I just fumbled, I'm a human, I'm allowed to make mistakes, everybody, it can happen with others also. Let me just continue, let me do what I came here for. So you will not be scared of what other people are thinking of me. You will not start to define your worth. You will not start to make your entire life, or make your entire value about just that one mistake. Instead, you will be able to let go of it. You will be able to, you will feel okay with making mistake, and you will be able to start over, to just carry on, with your next presentation or with your next line. And that is why I'm saying, and this was just an example. Just like this, no matter what situation we are in our life, our inner voice is the one that we, engage in a conversation with. It gives us the advice, it tells us, it feeds us the thoughts. And that is why it's such an important change that will happen when you develop a healthy relationship with yourself. This inner voice, this inner talk will become supportive. So instead of feeding you all the scary, all the fearful thoughts, it will start to treat you like, or it will start to support you. It will start to, it will talk to you in a way where you will feel supported, where you will not feel alone or scared. As a result, it will also determine the action that you take. It will also determine how you respond to things, how you live your life. And that is why I say that this is a very big change that happens when you have a healthy relationship with yourself. Now, second thing that happens when you have a healthy relationship is you start to put in efforts for yourself. Why? Because you start to believe, because you care for yourself, because you simply believe that you're worthy of it. So what happens is, when you have an unhealthy or a toxic relationship with yourself, you self-sabotage. Now, what do I mean when I say self-sabotage? See, all of us want a great career, all of us want to make great money, but not all of us do. Why? Because for a lot of us, we have an unhealthy relationship with ourselves. All right. And when I say an unhealthy relationship with ourselves, subconsciously we have ideas like, I'm incapable, I'm not worthy of a lot of money, I don't think I can do that, I'm not very, I cannot do great job, or I'm not worthy of a lot of money. So in subconsciously I have these beliefs setting, or simple something as, I'm not worthy of it. All right. So this is what happens when you have an unhealthy or toxic relationship with yourself. So now when it will come to actually taking action, when it will come to actually putting in the efforts, because even if it is having something as a great career, it will not come one day all of a sudden. For that to have that come one day, you need to start taking action on everyday basis, like be it building a routine, or be it enrolling yourself into a program, or just taking action, putting in the work, like sitting for work regularly for maybe 1 or 2 hours. But in this case, when you have an unhealthy self-esteem, you won't be able to do this, because you will self-sabotage. Because internally you have a belief कि तो हो ही नहीं सकता, because I'm not that person, I'm not that person who will have a who can have a career where they make this much of money. So externally you may say that I also want to make that much money, but because you have an unhealthy relationship with yourself, you will self-sabotage, and you will not be able to put in the efforts for your own self. Because who would help when you have this career? It's going to be for your own self, right? So because you do not consider yourself worthy enough, you do not care for yourself enough, hence you do not put in the efforts. But when you have a healthy relationship with yourself, you will be able to put in that effort. That can mean, when I say put in the efforts, that can mean different for different people based on what they want, or what is the kind of life that they are aiming at. For some people it could mean cultivating discipline, as in if there's something I need to do. So suppose an exam is what I'm aiming at, but that I need to crack to have my dream career. So for that, I have realized that I need to sit for at least 1 hour every day and learn this thing or study this thing. So here, because you have a healthy relationship with yourself, you would be able to develop that discipline. You will be able to take out time for yourself every day, or you will be able to, develop healthy habits, good habits for your own self, like maybe just drinking water because you care about your body, or just choosing to do exercise or other or workouts, maybe just 4 days a week. Why? Because you care for yourself. You somewhere believe that what, I deserve a healthy body. So you would be able to put in these efforts only because you have a healthy relationship with yourself, only because there's already this foundation of self-love in you, which is something which you will not be able to practice, which you will not be able to do when you do not have a healthy relationship, all right, with yourself. Next is that, okay, so this was a second point. Second thing that happens when you have a healthy relationship. Third thing that happens when you develop a healthy relationship is you accept yourself completely, and you start to embrace your body. So definitely, first we'll talk about what happens, what is something that happens when you have a toxic relationship with yourself. So what, when you have toxic relationship with yourself, what do I mean is that somewhere there's self-hatred. There's this feeling of shame that you have about your own self. And it can be about something, it can be about anything, that what, I do not like myself because I have realized that I do not have a great personality. People have told me that, or I do not like myself because I don't like my body, or I don't like this particular thing about myself. I don't like my voice or the way I speak. It can be anything. But as I say that, how I mean, the foundation that you have, because here now you have a foundation of self-hatred and shame, and it's going to reflect on every area of your life. So even if it is not, even if your body is, even if the way you look or your body fits into the set standard of society, all right, you will not be able to accept it. You will not feel you will not feel good about your habit, or good, sorry, you will not feel good about your body, because your self hatred will start to reflect in, or would start to invade that area also. So every time you look into the mirror, you would start to hate your body also. You will not like what you're seeing. So there would be a lot of frustration, a lot of anger when you look in the mirror. So it's like building a momentum. It's like, how you feel about one part of yourself, you start to feel about every other part of yourself also. So even if the anger or frustration is about uh, is about your personality, even if the core reason of your self-hatred is the way your personality is, you will also start to not like the way your body is, even if your body fits the society's standard, you know, of being good enough, of looking good enough. So it's like, because you have a foundation of self-hatred, it is going to, spread out at every area of your life. But when you have a healthy relationship with yourself, because now we have changed the foundation, instead of having self-hatred as the foundation, now we have self-love as the foundation. It will start to again, same thing will happen here also. Now when you have a foundation of self-love, self-love will start to spread out at every area of your life. So when now you look into mirror, you will start to look at yourself with a lot of love. You will start to embrace the body you have. So you will just love what you see. You will like what you see. There will be full acceptance of who I am, how I look, and what I am, complete acceptance. You will embrace your body. And I think this is very important, and this will lead us to the next point that happens when you have a healthy relationship. You develop self-confidence. When you accept yourself fully, that is nothing but that is self-confidence. The way, because it affects the way you carry yourself, it affects the way you treat yourself. And how you treat yourself, how you carry yourself, actually determines how other people how other people are also going to treat you, how they are going to, you know treat you or see you as. So the next point that I wanted to say, that a change that happens when you have a healthy relationship, you develop your self confidence. And please note that I'm talking about self confidence. So it's about how confident do I feel in who I am, how okay with who I am, how much okay and comfortable do I feel in who I am. It's not about me, it's not about how skilled I am in particular skill. It's not about how good I am in my career, or how good I can perform in certain, area of my life. No, self confidence is only about how do you feel about your own self. It's about the self. Do not confuse your self confidence with your skill based confidence. Self confidence is very intangible. It is something that you will only realize when it's like something that comes upon you feel it. All right, self confidence is something that you can feel it. It doesn't have to be really visible to others eyes. And that's a mistake that we do. We often end up feeling that, confidence is to be perfect, confidence is to give a speech perfectly, confidence is to do something very perfectly. That's not true. Self confidence is first feeling comfortable in who you are. It's accepting yourself completely. It's being okay with making mistakes, being okay with not being great or perfect at something. That is what true self confidence is. So yes, I think I have painted out a picture of, how or what are the changes that happen when you finally develop a healthy relationship with yourself. So I'll just sum it up. So first is, you treat yourself with compassion. That is, you cultivate a very supportive inner voice. Second, you start to put in efforts for yourself. That is, you stop self-sabotaging, and you start to build healthy habits, or you start to being more disciplined. So basically, you start to put in more efforts for your own self. Third, you accept yourself completely, and you start to embrace your body. So there's love for your own self. You accept yourself as you are. Fourth is, you develop self-confidence. You start to feel comfortable, proud of who you are. And when you do this, how the way you carry yourself changes. So now, this is what our goal is. This is what where we want to be. And that is why I believe it is so important to for all of us to have a healthy relationship. Because if you will notice that if you will notice, I did not talk about, achieving like healthy having a healthy relationship is not like achieving a milestone. I think it is something that should be considered as a normal for for all of us. Because why would any one of us should suffer in our own selves, right? Why would any of us should secretly hate ourselves? Because when we have self hatred, it's like hating the body you are in. It's like not liking the home, like not liking your own home, because your body is your home. Your inner voice is always going to be with your own self. It's always going to be with yourself. And what could be worse than being in a home that you do not like? So I think having a healthy relationship is should be considered should become a must. You must have a healthy relationship with yourself. It's like feeling peace. It's like finally feeling peace in who you are, like becoming aligned with your own self. Because because the kind of relationship you have with yourself, it affects every area, every second of your life. So now let's move to the second topic. I think so. Then in this episode, in this video, we just have two major episodes, like major steps. Sorry, major topics. First one was that what does a healthy relationship with yourself look like. Second is going to be the steps that we can take to build a healthy relationship with ourselves. So we'll just start with that. So first, and it's going to be in series. That is, first step needs to be done to move to the second, and it's like going to be one after the other. So it's not like just pointers. You can pick any of it. So the second point can only be happened when you have done the first. Similarly, same way. So first thing is that we need to let go of self hatred and other negative feelings that you have against yourself. So one of the facts that you do not have a healthy relationship right now is that you have an unhealthy relationship with yourself. That is, you have self-hatred. That somewhere there are feelings of that, somewhere there are some negative feelings that you have about your own self, that you have against yourself. So the first thing is that we need to first explore what it is, because finally we want to let go of it. So understand it this way. So we can only have one foundation in ourselves, right? We cannot have self-love and self-hatred coexist. We cannot have them exist, like at the same time. There's only one space, only one can stay. Right now there's self-hatred, right now there's shame, self-hatred, or all those uh, anger, frustration about your own self. Right now that is what resides in your body. So to have self-love come in, we need to look at this, we need to process it, so that we can let go of it. Only when it goes away, only when we are able to let go of this, we can invite self-love, we can move towards self-love. That is why even affirmations do not work. Because what we do when we look at affirmations like a method, like a formula, what we may end up doing is, here we are practicing I love myself, I love myself, while I have all the self-hatred stored in myself. So it's like it will make you feel even more worse about your own self. That is why I think affirmations do not work for people a lot. Because you forget to do the main thing. You need to find out what is that what you already have in your body, and then it's about letting it go. So here, first thing that you need to do is first is you need to go into what you already have. That is, here you find out what do you feel about yourself, what do you truly feel about yourself, and why do you do it. So it's about processing it. Because it's only when we find out, okay, what do I truly feel about myself, and why, what makes me feel like that about myself, when did I start feeling like this about myself, what is this all about, why do I feel so anger and frustration against my own self, what part of my body am I not able to accept, what is something about myself that I truly hate, that I truly want to get rid of. And this is important because you cannot have self love if you do not make space for it. All right, so first is this. And the end goal of this is that, the end goal is that we develop self understanding, we understand ourselves deeply, and we're able to forgive ourselves. Forgive mean to be able to let go of the negative feelings that we have against our own selves, to be able to let go of the frustration, of the anger that I feel against about my own self, against my own self. So two things need to happen in this first step. First is, when we need to probe, we need to find out what my feelings about myself are and why it is so. When did I start feeling this? What is the anger about? What is the frustration about? And then I need to understand myself. I need to really see myself from my own eyes. I need to acknowledge my story. I need to understand, okay, why am I the way I am? Only then you will be able to forgive yourself. And forgiveness is important, because it is only when you forgive that you're able to let go of all the anger that you have against your own self. Because as long as you are angry about your own self, as long as there's frustration, you're holding certain grudges against your own self, you're not going to be able to do the steps that I have, after this, to move towards a healthy relationship. So this is the first step, to let go of the self-hatred. Second, moving to the second step, which you do when you have, when you're finally able to dissolve it, right? When you're finally able to do the first step, maybe to some extent. Second is you gain self-awareness. Now, what do I mean when I say self-awareness? So see, right now, till here, you've had some very distorted ideas about your own self, distorted and negative. So the way you saw yourself till here was, I'm not good enough. This is something that's, this is something that's very unacceptable about me. I do not like this part of myself. I'm not very good at this. I do not have a very good personality, or I cannot do this. So you have very negative ideas about your own self. So now that we have let go of the self hatred, it's about again finding out, it's about finding out who we really are. It's about gaining self awareness. It's about finding, like, getting to know yourself. And how do you do that? By connecting with your own self, finding out, okay, what are my values, what is something that I truly value in my life, how would I like to live my life, what is the kind of person that I would like to become, what is the kind of person that I vision my higher self to be like, what is the kind of person that I want to become, like, that I would feel proud of. It's about, so gaining self-awareness is about connecting with yourself, so that you can find out what are your values, so that you can find out, okay, what are my strengths or weaknesses, what is something I like, or what is something that I dislike. So it's just about getting to know yourself. It's about, we're starting to build a new relationship with our own self. So it's about you getting to know your own self. Now, third step is practice something that brings you joy on a regular basis. Now, when I say this, it might sound very like an advice, that what is this? But it is very important, because you know what? When it comes to feeling joy, or when it comes to doing something that brings you joy, it is something that you won't be able to do when you have an unhealthy relationship. Because when you have hatred, you would not be able to allow yourself to do anything that would bring you happiness or joy. So when you are moving towards a healthy relationship, this is something that you need to do. You need to do do things that bring you joy and happiness, because now you want to build a foundation where self-love, you know where self-love resides, which basically means that you consider yourself worthy of joy and happiness. And I think one of the beautiful way to find out, okay, what is something that brings me joy, is to go back to your child version. Okay, what is something that brought you sheer joy when you did? And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be something that has to be perfect. It can be anything. For some people it could just be gardening. For some it could be just painting, some just doodling, or just singing, dancing, just uh, getting lost in your own self, being lost in your own self, forgetting the time, forgetting the sense of the time, just flowing in who you are. And it might sound like, okay, this sounds like, a very kiddish activity, like uh, is it necessary to do? And oftentimes when I tell this to people, they oftentimes say that, I do not have time for it. It would take, a lot of time. And then I often think that, you do not have time for what? For your own self, like, because it's not that you have to do this every day. It's just that you have to make it a part of your life again. You can choose the frequency. How frequently do I want to do it? But when you say that I do not have time for this, it basically means that I do not have time for myself. I do not have time to feel joy in my own body. And it is very funny, because all of manifestation is the talk of the town, right? We all want to manifest our beautiful career, that relationship, but we often forget the basic rule, fundamental rule of manifestation says that you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. And when you indulge in something that brings you joy, you become the source of joy. And when you when you feel joy in your body, you attract more joy in your life. You forget, we forget that. We think that manifestation is all about action. So what we do is we keep taking action, that is, we keep chasing happiness, we keep chasing that goal, when in reality the aim is to become that happiness, to embody that joy. And one of the best ways I have found is to do this, to take out time for yourself, so that you can just embrace your own self, so that you can just find happiness, so that you can feel the happiness in your body, so that you can feel the joy. And that is the, I think that is the greatest essence of being alive. And this is something that you won't be able to do when you have an unhealthy relationship in life. So when you are moving, like when you have an unhealthy relationship with your own self, so when you are moving towards having a healthy relationship with your own self, start doing this. You can set the frequency, but connect with something that used to bring you joy, and do it and see how it makes you feel. Next is cultivate a healthy and supportive inner voice. Now this is very important, because when I say that, when you move from an unhealthy relationship to a healthy relationship, your critical inner voice will not turn into a supportive inner voice just in a day, like that. Everything requires practice. But now that we have already let go of the self hatred, now that we have already invited self love in our body, we have set the foundation. You will be able to do this work. That is, you will be able to cultivate a healthy and supportive inner voice. How? See, initially what would happen, you would just buy into any thoughts that your inner critic would bring in. You would believe into it. You would engage in a conversation with it, and you would let it dictate. You would let it tell you what to do. But now you would engage with your thoughts, with that conversation more consciously. Okay? So you will be more conscious of your thoughts, and you will engage in the you will engage in the conversation with your inner voice more consciously, because now you will take care of it, that okay, what is something that I need to, that I can believe in, or what is something that I do not want to believe in anymore, because now I'm changing, because now I know that I'm choosing self love instead of shame and all of that. And when I'm talking about engaging in a conversation more consciously, what do I mean exactly? So before, what would happen, you would let your inner critic end the conversation. It will tell you what to do. It will tell you that, what, now I have made a mistake. These people are thinking that I'm not capable enough, I'm not good for my position, my job, and I do not deserve it. I'm going to lose it all. So you let your inner critic decide the conclusion. But now, when you will have a supportive inner voice, maybe that inner critic will try to peek in, will try to get into your head, that oh my god, I have made a mistake. What are these people going to think of me? But then you will be able to choose the end, that what, everybody makes a mistake. I am also allowed to make a mistake, and it's just a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. People will understand. My job is to continue with what I'm doing. My job is to deliver what I came here for. And you will continue with the presentation. You will start over. So here you get to decide the how you get to decide how that conversation with your thoughts would end. That is what being more conscious of your thoughts mean. And that is how you would slowly, with time, with efforts, you will be able to develop a much more supportive and healthy inner voice. All right. And one of the things that actually helps you do this is to become more aware of your thoughts is journaling. And I do not mean that you journal every day, every night. You don't have to do this if you do not like doing it. Journal when you believe that your thoughts are becoming kind of overwhelmed. You're not able to decide what is something that you want to do, or you feel that something is worrying you. Write down your thoughts on a paper. That way you will be able to think more critically. You will be able to examine your thoughts. You will be able to see, okay, where are these thoughts coming from? Are they coming from my fear, or are they valid? Are they even rational? Do they even make sense? And hence you will be again able to choose the end of the conversation. What is something that I want to believe in? What is something that I want to choose going forward? So journaling helps in that sense, all right, because then you're able to see your thoughts. Next is building healthy habits one step at a time. So now when it comes to building a healthy relationship with your own self, see, thought work is one part of it, right? We've talked about it, letting go of self-hatred. Again, then working upon, connecting with your own self, getting to know yourself deeply. Third was, I think, doing something that brings you joy, like connecting with the parts of you that brings you joy. And the next was having or cultivating a healthy and supportive inner voice. Now we are coming to the more concrete steps, or work that is very much visible to us, that is action work. Because always remember, anything that we do, we are only going to see like only going to be effective when we combine these two things: belief work, inner work, plus action work. So now comes the action work part at the end. All right. So it's not that you have to first complete it completely, like to the fullest. Only then you can start with action work. Uh, it's about initiating these the previous steps and then beginning with the action work along with it. All right. So here, when I say that building healthy habits one step at a time, what do I mean? See, when I talk about healthy habits, all I mean is that you you bring in such habits in your life that is going to serve you first, that you believe that, you know what, this is something that I want to do, or this is something that I would that aligns with the lifestyle I want for myself. And healthy habits often means that adopting habits which are definitely not easy to do initially, because see, easy things that is, maybe just easy things are always easier to adopt, but it doesn't mean that easy things are what is going to, give you great results or is going to be healthy for your life. Because if you see it that way, then comfort comes so easy to everybody. Like, I would love to sleep all day, I would love to have, fast food. It's so good, it's so tempting. Everybody would love to lie on their bed to just keep watching, binge watching, series, one after the other. But that is not what we want, right? We want to hold ourselves back, we want to put some restriction there, we want to uh, uh, develop discipline there, if that is the word. So that is where building healthy habits come in, that we do not let ourselves flow according to, our comfort or that, but instead we pick up on discipline, we build healthy habits for ourselves, we stick to some things for, as a routine, we build new healthy routines that we know that, okay, this is something that is going to help me going forward. It can be anything. Like, for somebody it can be, that, okay, when I wake up, instead of using my phone, instead of scrolling my phone, the first thing that I choose to do is, maybe I want to do a light yoga, or maybe I just want to take a short walk. So what are you doing? You're building a habit that definitely doesn't feel very easy, doesn't feel very tempting, rather it is hard, but you're going to pick it up because you know that, you know what, it is going to help me become the kind of person that I want to. It is going to help me with a sound body, with a healthy body, with a sound mind that I want to. So it's about building healthy habits for yourself, and I highly recommend this um, because definitely it's action work, and action work just, it doubles the effect that you feel. I mean, the I think the result that you see through action work, it's much more visible to eyes, and when you will see the results, it will even push you further into developing healthy habits. So it's going to give you a good push towards your journey of building a healthy relationship with yourself. And I think yeah, so this is it, building a healthy, and just starting with one healthy habit would be enough. So to start, you do not have to start with changing your entire routine, entire life, or turning your entire day in one day. That never works. Start with just one small aligned habit that you want to adopt. It can be anything. It can be something as small as taking care of, okay, how much I drink water, being just making sure that I'm well hydrated. And that could start just by you making sure that you always carry a water bottle with your own self. This is a habit, and once you stick by it, you're able to do it every day. You're able to make sure that I'm always carrying my water bottle with myself. You will be able to see the results also. I know it seems very small change, but the results are going to be great. And what I meant to say, that just start with one habit. Start with one. It's like a momentum. You will build momentum with time. Once one small healthy habit will give you to adopt another healthy habit, and like this, you will be able to, I mean, you will be able to go to a stage where your day looks like the your day looks like what you want it to be like. Okay, so these were the points that I had in my mind that you would that would take you towards a healthy relationship with your own self. Now, one thing I want you to take care of is that the last step that I talked about, taking action, that is, which involved building healthy habits. It is very important that, when you come to this step, building healthy habits, do not skip this part. All the steps that I've mentioned before, it needs to be practiced. At least you need to initiate it, because people people do this step, or people implement this step without doing the inner work, or without doing all the previous steps. Because in an unhealthy when you have an unhealthy relationship with yourself, even then some people build habits. Even then you feel the push to build habits. But in that case, what happens is you're doing it from a place of self-hatred. You're doing it from a place of proving your worth. You're doing it from a place of that I need to prove myself. So there it's like you're being harsh on yourself. There you tie your entire self-worth on that habit. So any day you are not able to do that habit, any day you're not able to stick to that task, you start to feel bad about your own self. So your entire feel good, your entire value, your entire worth goes down. So it's like a very volatile way of feeling good about yourself. So when I talk about building healthy habits, it's first doing the inner work. That is first letting go of the self hatred, or gaining self awareness, connecting with your own self, doing things that bring you joy, or cultivating a healthy and supportive inner voice. Only then you do the action work. If you do it without action, without inner work, that is thought work, without letting go of the self hatred, it is you are going to do it from a place of from a place of like it's going to turn into a toxic habit, because then you're tying your entire self-worth onto that habit. All right, so these are the things that you need to do in order to move towards a healthy relationship with your own self, to build a healthy relationship with your own self. Now what is something that you can do right now to start over on this journey? So just practice the first step. Start with the first step, which was to let go of the self-hatred. Now what do you need to do for that? Find out what are your feelings about your own self and dig deeper into the why. So ask yourself questions like, okay, what do I feel about my own self? So, and be as honest as you can be here, because it will only be fruitful if you're being honest with yourself. All right. So there is no second person who is going to read your answers. It's just you and you. All right. So be honest. So ask yourself, what is something that I truly feel about myself? It can be anything: anger, frustration, shame, anything. Be honest with your own self. Second thing that you need to ask yourself is, why do I feel this way? What makes me feel that way? When did I start feeling like this? So dig deeper into it, because we need to find out everything. Because you were not born with feeling shame or anger or frustration about your own self. So you develop these things. All right, you start to feel this way. So to process it, to let go of it, we need to find out its origin. And yeah, do this. Ask yourself these questions, answer it for your own self. So it's like you're starting on this journey. Yeah, so first right now I would just recommend you to do the first step as homework. And this was it for today. And I think I would like to end today's video by saying that you need to become aware of what you already have inside you. So before you bring in self-love, you need to ask yourself, okay, what is already inside me? What do I already feel about my own self? First, we need to let go of it. So become aware of your inner state first. So to do the inner work, you need to become aware of your inner state. All right, so this was it for today. And yeah, so I hope you have a clear idea of how you can build a healthy relationship with your own self. Yeah, so yes, that was it for today. And I would meet you tomorrow. We will come with another topic, and we will explore another depth. All right then.